And we move to the top of the 7th. We are scoreless as Bethune-Cookman tries to get their second hit and their first run off the Olympian Kat Osterman. Texas mounted a run there in the bottom of the 6th. They couldn't get it done. And stranger things have happened. The Wildcats are loose, and they've got the offense to do it, but Kat Osterman stands in their way. Two, 3, and 4 will face Kat Osterman here. In the top of the 7th, we are at McCombs Field in Austin, Texas for the Super Regionals between the University of Texas and Bethune-Cookman. Capri Williams, the number 2 hitter, who is 0 for 2 on the day, will lead it off here in the top of the 7th. And Kat getting ahead of her 0-1.
And right now, Kat just wants to go in there and fire these three next batters and get her team back into the dugout so they can hopefully score.
There's the bunt to first. Did she get her? Alexis Garcia got her with the tag. Clutching up in defense. Texas does it all the time behind Kat Osterman as Garcia. Very wisely, the senior applies the tag, and Williams is out number 1. Tiffany Bowser, the only Wildcat to have a hit in this ball game. Steps in here in the 7th.
Right now, these Wildcats, if they want to put the ball in play, they're going to need to make a little bit of adjustments at the plate, either move way up in the box or move deep in the box.
Osterman, 4-time Big 12 Pitcher of the Week, a finalist for the National Player of the Year, an Olympian, the most valuable pitcher in the Big 12 tournament. The only thing she doesn't have is a College World Series championship.
And Kat talked about that's her main motivation in coming back to UT. She wants to help her teammates get that national championship and to be a part of the first team at University of Texas getting a national championship.
Bowser takes a look at strike 2. Foul ball. And Bowser stays in. Biggest part of the game is you try and foul off as many pitches as you can, hoping Kat's going to throw you something you can drive. That doesn't happen all too often.
Doesn't happen often. With Kat, you got to take with what you can get. She's not going to throw you anything too good to hit.
The 2-2 pitch. Full count. Game 1 of the best-of-3 series. Texas, Bethune-Cookman, scoreless here in the 7th. Ground ball foul. Well, you talk about a long-time loss, and really for Kat Osterman, the last loss for Texas was back in April. In fact, it was the loss to Texas A&M. It really stuck in Kat Osterman's craw on April 27th. It was the first loss that Texas had when they scored at least 3 runs, and Kat said, you know, that loss I probably took harder than any loss I've ever taken. And that was part of the fuel that got her to turn it up just a bit after the Longhorns lost to Texas A&M on national television.
Kat knows that this team depends on her a lot, so she takes losing very, very seriously, and she takes it very, very, very personal.
Bowser still has life. 3-2 count. 1 out here in the 7th. And grounds the ball to second base. Ches Severs is there and throws it to first for out number 2.
And that's a nice play by Ches Severs. And from talking to her earlier, she talked about what she brings to this team is her defense. And if she's not hitting, she knows if she can keep it up on defense that she's going to bring a lot to this Longhorn team.
The sophomore, Andrea Thomas, trying to get a 2-out rally going. 2 strikeouts. That when she comes in with a .369 average. And fouls that pitch back. Laura Watton, the coach for Bethune-Cookman, said we script almost every pitch before we play a team. So they know what Kat Osterman throws. They know where she throws. It's a whole different story when you step in the batter's box.
Most definitely, and Coach Watton talked about before all the opponents they face, they do a mock defense and a mock offense. They go through all the pitches that the pitcher they're going to face, and they go through all the batters that they're going to face on defense.
Practice, practice, practice. It's got them to their first ever Super Regionals for the Wildcats. Perhaps they faced a bigger cat in Osterman. Strike 3! The 16th strikeout for Kat Osterman. The Longhorns are going to try and win it in regulation as we move to the bottom of the 7th. We're scoreless. Seven, 8, and 9 come to the plate for the Longhorns as they try and win this game in regulation. We move to the bottom of the 7th, and it is scoreless. We are in Austin, Texas for this NCAA Softball Super Regional, which has a southern flavor. Bethune-Cookman out of Daytona Beach, Florida, taking on the University of Texas. It's best 2 out of 3. Tracy Warren along with Olympian Natasha Watley. Watching a picture-perfect game for both pitchers in this game. Kat Osterman having 15 strikeouts for the Longhorns. Lauren McCoy allowing only 3 hits for the Wildcats. Stellar pitching performances by both of these pitchers. The number 7 hitter, Amber Hall, will hope to crack this nut. She is 0 for 2 on the day, striking out in the 2nd and grounding out to 3rd in the 5th. And goes after the first pitch.
And we talked about earlier how once they see a good pitch, they go after it, the Longhorns. They don't want to let anything good go by.
And Amber Hall's got some great foot speed, so she is the type to manufacture a hit for the Longhorns. And we want to welcome those who have joined us from ESPN2 to this Softball Super Regional in Austin, Texas. We've got a battle between the University of Texas and Bethune-Cookman out of Daytona Beach, Florida. We're scoreless here in the bottom of the 7th. The Longhorns have managed 3 hits, no runs. The Wildcats 1 hit, no run. Tracy Warren along with Natasha Watley and our ESPNU crew. The 0-2 pitch. Ball 1. Bethune-Cookman out of the MEAC got an at-large bid, the first ever for the Wildcats and the first ever for the conference. They won their first ever regional game and are moved on to their first ever super regional. The University of Texas hoping to make their 3rd College World Series appearance and their first since 2003. Hall, shot to the right side, and that's in for a single.
That's a nice piece of hitting by Hall in that number 7 spot. Again, in the number 7 spot, leading off the inning. Amanda Hall is so versatile and so athletic that she can act as like another leadoff hitter.
The junior goes to the right side and uses the foot speed to get the rest done. And how is that for clutch hitting at the right time? It's been the formula for Texas all season long. And the key is, can they push that run across? Jackie Williams, 0 for 2 on the day.
And right now, Coach Clark is gonna have to use that softball 101. She got her leadoff hitter on the base, and now she's gonna use Williams and try to get her over to 2.
And strike 1 called. Connie Clark not afraid to send the runner. You could see her almost talking to herself. It looked like somebody might have missed a signal there, whether it was Hall there at first base or Williams in the batter's box. Connie Clark, she said, my patience wears thin as the game wears on.
Most definitely. At the bottom of the 7th right now, it's a tied ball game. You want Williams to get that ball down. You want her to square.
She's not squaring. Hall's not going. So what about that softball 101, Natasha Watley? She's just making McCoy come to her?
Well, that's interesting. That's Coach Clark showing that she has a lot of confidence in her batters, letting Williams up at the plate and letting her hit away.
Jackie Williams, 9 RBIs coming into this game. The sophomore out of Arlington, Texas. Her average is up 15 points from the Big 12 tournament. The 1-1 pitch. She squares there. Fouls it back 1-2. I guess there's not much of an element of surprise. If everybody expects you to bunt, you just got to get that ball down.
Most definitely. And you got to take that extra moment. That time looked like Williams showed the bunt a little late. But in this situation, the whole world knows that you're trying to get that ball down, and that's your job.
The 1-2 pitch. Ball 2 outside. The affirmation from head coach Connie Clark. Lauren McCoy, the senior, trying to get Bethune-Cookman's first ever super regional win. Strike 3 called. Wow. Jackie Williams just frozen by Lauren McCoy for out number 1.
Looks like the home plate umpire couldn't quite make up his mind. It was a little delayed call.
Just the 5th strikeout of the game for McCoy. The shot by Padilla. They go 2-1. Double play. So after the leadoff single, and then they finish with the double play. We're moving to extra innings, going to the 8th.